She quickly goes inside and apologizes to Jinwook for her mistake. But as soon as Jinwook turns his face, she gets completely shocked after seeing him and runs away from there without saying anything. Then Jinwook says to himself, "Now it will be fun." After this, when she is going to her house, even then she is thinking about Jinwook and says to herself, "He was a waiter, how can he be the CEO of such a big company?" Then Jinwook comes there, and seeing him, she quickly starts running away from there. But then Jinwook holds her hand and tells her, "You have not changed at all in 3 years." But Yumi is not able to understand what to say to him. Then she pretends as if she does not know him at all. Then Jinwook comes close to her and says to her, "Look at me carefully, do you really not know me?" Here Yumi starts getting hiccups again. Jinwook, holding her hand, asks her to sit in his car, but she frees her hand and says, "I am not that kind of girl who will sit in anyone's car," and she quickly runs away from there. Jinwook is very surprised by this and says to himself, "I have seen how long will you pretend like this?" After coming home, Yumi repeatedly thinks about Jinwook and says to herself, "What will I do now?" At the same time, we see Jinwook, who is also repeatedly thinking about Yumi. The next morning, the assistant tells Yumi that from now on she'll be making food for Jinwook 3 times a day and taking it to his office. Yumi gets irritated and asks if it's necessary for her to go there, but the assistant says, "Of course, if you don't want to get fired, you'll have to do this work from today." We see Yumi taking food for Jinwook and motivating herself, saying, "You can do this." However, when she sees Jinwook in front of her, she gets very nervous. Jinwook tries to make Yumi remember the 3-year-old things and asks her if she knows about the place. When she sees the pictures of the restaurant in front of her, she remembers the scene of her washroom, but then she acts as if she doesn't know anything. He says that from now on they'll see each other like this. After that, when Yumi is going to the office, Jinwook comes in front of her in the same car he had used before. After that, when Yumi again takes food for Jinwook, he tries to remind her of old memories by showing her the beer bottle. Seeing this, she's unable to do anything and quickly runs away from there. In the next scene, we see Jinwook with his assistant. His assistant says, "These days you're feeling very fresh. Is all this because of the dietitian?" But Jinwook interrupts and says there's nothing like that. After that, Hairi calls Jinwook and suggests they have dinner together, but Jinwook refuses and hangs up the phone. Meanwhile, Yumi is free from her work and is about to go home when Jinwook messages her asking her to take an extra meal for him. She gets very angry, but despite not wanting to, she has to do it. On the other side, we see Jinwook looking at Yumi's profile and saying, "She's stronger than my expectations. Today I've taken my revenge from her." Just then, Yumi brings food to his office. While giving her money, he says, "The money I took from you 3 years ago for filling up my car with fuel, I'm returning it to you with interest today." But she says, "I don't know what you're talking about," and refuses to take the money. Jinwook forcibly gives her the money and says, "Now return my things." She asks, "What is it?" He replies, "My coat that you took and ran away with that day." She claims, "I threw that coat away 3 years ago." Jinwook comes close to her and says, "I don't trust you." After that, we see Yumi asking one of her friends if they'll change jobs with her because she doesn't want to work there anymore. The assistant overhears this. In the next scene, we're shown Yumi near Jinwook, where he's telling her a lot of things. She gets irritated and says she remembers everything, getting angry because he makes her do a lot of work for him. As she's about to leave, Jinwook stops her and asks, "Before leaving, you have to tell me why you left me 3 years ago." But Yumi lies and says, "Because that was a one-night stand for me," and with that she leaves. Jinwook gets very upset after hearing this from her. In the next scene, we see Yumi getting upset thinking about the last night and saying to herself that Jinwook will definitely fire her today. However, when she reaches the office, she sees that Jinwook doesn't do anything like that. Instead, he praises the food she made a lot, which surprises her. After that, we see Jinwook with his assistant, where he tells him not to wear a particular suit again because he has trophophobia. The assistant responds saying, "I think you don't have any sense of fashion at all." Later, when Jinwook is in the washroom, he overhears a worker talking on the phone about bringing someone else in place of Yumi. After this, while Jinwook is working in his office, his friend Hairi comes to visit him. But Jinwook gets very angry at Hairi and asks her to leave because he doesn't like her at all. They're both together when Yumi comes with food, and seeing them together, she's very surprised. She quickly leaves after putting the food down. After that, when Yumi comes home, she sees her mother has come to stay with her daughter. Yumi gets very angry with her mother because she had left her husband's house to see her daughter. The next morning, we see Yumi cooking for Jinwook. Just then, Hae-ri brings a lot of things for Yumi and says that from today, Yumi will make the same food for Jinwook that she tells her to. Before serving, Yumi must send her a photo of the food because she and Jinwook are going to get married soon. Hearing this, Yumi is very surprised. Just then, Jinwook arrives and asks Hae-ri, who told her that she's going to be his wife. Then, pulling Yumi closer to him, he says that he'll eat the food she cooks for him and no one else can order her. After that, Jinwook holds Yumi's hand and takes her out with him, telling her to get ready quickly because they're going out now. After this, we see both of them at a restaurant. Here, Jinwook tells Yumi that he likes the food of this restaurant very much, so she should taste it and from next time cook the same food for him. While tasting the food, she says that the food here is really very good. After this, she asks Jinwook if Hae-ri is his girlfriend. Then Jinwook tells Yumi that if a boy is with a girl, it doesn't mean that he's dating her. After that, he says to her, "You forget that night because it was just a one-night stand." On hearing this, Yumi starts getting hiccups. After this, when they're going out of the restaurant, she starts banging on the door just as he quickly catches Yumi. As soon as she comes close to Jinwook, she starts getting hiccups. Then the scene shifts. We see Jinwook in his house where he's thinking about the same man who's talking about bringing another dietitian in place of Yumi. Thinking this, Jinwook tells himself that he'll never let this happen. After saying this, he opens the jewelry box kept in front of him, and here again the scene of 3 years is shown where Jinwook finds some of Yumi's belongings in his car, and he kept it with him. At present, seeing it, he says to himself that he himself doesn't know why he's kept it till date. After that, we see the scene of the next morning where Jinwook goes to the cafeteria with all his employees to have lunch, and as soon as he tastes the food, he becomes very happy because it's made exactly as Jinwook had told Yumi. In the next scene, we see Yumi with her friend Jong. Both of them are talking to each other when a girl comes there and starts asking Jong for his number. On which Jong quickly goes to Yumi and says that she's my girlfriend and you're ruining our date. Then the girl quickly leaves from there. After this, Yumi gets very angry at him, and here we come to know that Jong likes her very much, but Yumi considers him only as her friend. In the next scene, we see Jinwook, who is returning from a meeting and calls Yumi, but her brother attends the call. He's very surprised to hear her brother's voice. Then Yumi comes there and quickly takes the phone from her brother. Jinwook says to her that he hasn't eaten food today, so she should come to his house and cook food for him. On which his assistant is surprised because just now ago, he had lunch in the cafeteria. After some time, we see Yumi, who has reached the house with her brother and is cooking food. There's a sound of something falling from his hands. Hearing this, she quickly goes to her brother, and after reaching there, she sees that her brother has dropped a jewelry box of Jinwook. As she picks up the box, she sees that it's slightly broken from the side. But she quickly goes to fix it. She thinks of opening it, but then doesn't do so because she thinks that Jinwook has taken the jewelry box for Hae-ri. So she leaves the box there and leaves from there with her brother. After that, when Jinwook comes home, he sees that Yumi isn't there. Actually, today he wanted to have lunch with Yumi, but she already left from there. When he goes to his room, he finds a bag in which there's the same coat that Yumi had run away with 3 years ago. Seeing the coat, Jinwook becomes very happy. The next day, when Yumi goes to take food for Jinwook, he says to her that he's not a small child, that she decorates his food so much, and also says that from today onwards, all this shouldn't be there in his food. On the other hand, we see Hae-ri, who has brought food cooked by her own hands for Jinwook's father, and she's trying to make him happy so that he can somehow get her married to Jinwook. Here, Jinwook's father likes Hae-ri very much. After that, he sees the lying jewelry box in front of him and comes to know that someone has touched it. But Jinwook gets very upset because he thinks that Yumi must have opened it and seen what's in it. The scene shifts and we see Jinwook in a meeting, but he's getting very upset thinking about the box again and again. Seeing his actions, the rest of the members are also looking at him surprisingly. After that, thinking the whole day, Jinwook decides to meet Yumi. Just then, he finds Yumi's brother's toy in his room, and after seeing it, he's confirmed that she had come to this room. Then Jinwook calls Yumi and asks her to meet him now. But she says that she won't come at this time. But Jinwook says, okay, if you don't come, then I'll come to you. After that, he reaches Yumi and after showing her the toy asks if it's hers. But she just acts as if she doesn't know and doesn't even tell him about her brother. Then he asks her again if she went to his room yesterday. Then she gives a box to Jinwook because she thinks that Jinwook has kept a diamond necklace in the box. Then he asks Yumi if she opened that box and saw what's in it. Then Yumi says that she just looked at it from outside and got an idea about the thing in it. She says he should buy a bigger box because the bigger it is, the better it will be. Hearing this, Jinwook is very surprised. Actually, there's a misunderstanding between the two. She's thinking that there was a diamond necklace in the box, but Jinwook is thinking something else that belongs to Yumi. While they're talking, Yumi's friend arrives there, and seeing him, Jinwook asks her who he is. On which Jong says that he's her boyfriend and takes Yumi with him. Jinwook gets very jealous after seeing them together. After that, we're shown a flashback scene where Jinwook is praising Yumi's food a lot and says that she's cooked such good food, and he also clicks a lot of photos of her food. After that, we see Jinwook, who's going back to his home and wonders what that girl thinks of herself. But he himself asks him to control himself. On the other hand, Jong tells Yumi that if next time your boss will do such a thing, then tell him that I'm your boyfriend. Next, we see Jinwook. Even now, he's getting upset thinking about Yumi's boyfriend. He says to himself that he already knew that by now she must have got some boyfriend. After that, he waits for her to come to the office the next morning, and as soon as she comes, he starts acting as if he's busy with work and gives her Yumi's brother's toy. He says, please take it from here. But Yumi gives him the same jewelry box and says that you also have to take this. On hearing this, Jinwook holds Yumi's hand and says that she should take it away from his sight and never talk about it in front of him. After this, when Yumi takes her toy and starts to leave from there, Jinwook stops her and asks her who that boy with her was last night, if he's her boyfriend, and if they're both living together. But Yumi refuses to answer anything and says that why should she tell him about her personal life. Jinwook says that okay, if she doesn't want to tell, then don't tell. But he'll tell her one thing. He finds that boy very lazy to look at. Hearing this, Yumi praises Jong a lot and also goes from there bad-mouthing Jinwook. After she leaves, Jinwook says to himself, was she talking about me? Then he gets very angry thinking about this and looking at the food that she's cooked says that how many times he's told her not to cook so much food for him, but her food is becoming even more cute day by day. Then again, he starts taking photos of Yumi's food. In the next morning, when Jinwook is going with his assistant, he gives him a book and says that this book is his favorite book. But as soon as Jinwook sees the book, he comes to know that it's not someone else's but Yumi's boyfriend Jong's. Here he comes to know that he's a writer. His assistant says to him, will you return my book to me? But Jinwook throws the book there itself and goes away because he's getting very jealous. Then in the evening, when she brings food for Jinwook, Jinwook ignores her and says to leave. As soon as Yumi leaves, he happily goes up to eat the dish made by her. After that, he messages her and says that why was the food so less today as his stomach is still not full, so she should cook more food. But she gets very surprised and again starts cooking food for him. Then when she brings the food to Jinwook, he again ignores her and says to leave. As soon as she leaves, he takes out the food digesting bottle from his pocket and drinks it in anger. The scene shifts and we see Yumi, who's alone and talking with her friend, saying that today her boss has made her work so hard, due to which she's become very tired. So she asks him if today he'll come to pick her up. Here Jinwook is listening to all her talks quietly and goes to Yumi and asks her to cook food. She's very surprised and says that he's just eaten food. But she has to cook food for Jinwook again, even though she doesn't want to. After that, when Yumi brings food for him, he keeps it on the book of Jong and eats it, telling Yumi that till he eats, she'll also sit here. But at first she refuses a lot, but then she has to agree to him. After this, both of them start talking to each other. Then Jinwook comes close to Yumi and says that he has to check something. As soon as he comes close to Yumi, she starts getting hiccups. Jinwook smiles and remembers that whenever he's close to Yumi, she starts getting hiccups like this. He says that her hiccups are only because of him, because she gets hiccups even when she's around him or close to him. He asks her if she feels nervous because of him. While pushing him away from herself, she says that she has hiccups, or is it only because she has a physical problem, because when she's with him, she doesn't feel nervous, but feels uncomfortable. After that, she leaves from there. Jinwook is very surprised to hear this. The scene shifts and we see Jong, who's playing with Yumi's brother. Then a lady comes to him and asks him who this kid is. To save himself from the lady, he says that this is his son. Then that girl quickly leaves from there. On the other hand, we see that Jinwook is getting very angry remembering her words, and he also throws the box in the dustbin to get it out of his sight. After that, we see Yumi, who falls asleep on Jong's shoulder while talking to him. The next morning, Jinwook goes to his office, and then he sees Yumi, but ignoring her he goes.